Constructed 5 times faster than conventional methods, the Fisher Industries wall design is a more cost-effective solution that will blend in with the landscape and protect our U.S. borders for more than 150 years to come. The build process starts with excavation and concrete placement in the footing. Wall construction follows closely behind, with the placement of vertical forms. 32 feet tall, 34 feet 6-inch wide forms are permanently attached to the 352 Caterpillar excavators that set these forms in place on the wall footing. The excavators hold the forms securely during concrete placement to create the wall sections. 2 main types of forms are used. One uses a vertical face, while the other uses a sloped or battered face. Excavators place the vertical faced forms on the south side of the foundation first. Then, a long-reach excavator places the rebar cage into position. Next, excavators place the 3 battered forms into position on the north side of the footing, sandwiching the rebar cages. Bulkheads are attached at the ends of the in-place form system to create a 103 feet 6-inch wall section. By using excavators and man lifts for all processes, Fisher eliminates the hazards created when workers must climb tall structures to erect and remove conventional forms. This cast-in-place process also eliminates the safety risks associated with the use of cranes to move large and heavy precast wall sections. In comparison to precast walls, Fisher's cast-in-place wall system reduces the carbon footprint considerably, as no on-road transport of precast panels is required. In addition, the excavators for the form systems are turned off once the forms are set in place. 6,000 psi colored concrete is placed into 2 sets of these form structures. This creates 2 freestanding bulkhead wall sections that have a 102-foot gap between them. After placing, the concrete cures for 14 to 15 hours overnight. The following morning, the concrete has cured to an initial strength of 2,000 psi, allowing the excavators to remove the forms. Due to Fisher's patented form system and colored concrete, the wall requires no patching or painting, unlike a precast wall system. After removal, the forms are moved to their new location and cleaned. They are then precisely positioned for the next bulkhead wall section. The forms used in the second bulkhead section are removed. These forms are then repositioned at the gap between the 2 previously placed wall sections. The 2 wall sections placed the day before create the end seal for this closure wall section. No bulkheads are required. Once construction is underway, 2 bulkhead wall sections and 2 closure wall sections represent approximately 400 feet of high-quality, long-life wall. In fact, a single crew can create roughly 2 miles of wall per month, 5 times the rate of conventional methods. This arrangement of crew and equipment can be replicated at 13 locations to construct a total of 1 mile of wall per day. Fisher's unique wall system allows construction on slopes up to 3% before any stepping of the footing is required. Once the slope exceeds 3%, Fisher will utilize a stepped footing method and still maintain a smooth transition at the top of the wall. This benefit is not possible with a precast wall system. With steeper slopes, wall sections can be vertically staggered, and because the process uses excavators and does not need to use cranes to lift heavy precast panels into place, it is adaptable to construction in mountainous terrain as well. Fisher will construct a patrol road on both sides of the wall. When constructed with a larger footing, the wall design is strong enough to be backfilled to a height of 29 feet to facilitate a 24-foot wide roadway. This kind of elevated roadway not only provides an advantaged view for Border Patrol agents, but also provides a highway that makes Border Patrol safer, faster, and more effective. Processing plants can be set up in nearby locations to excavate and utilize aggregate materials to batch the concrete necessary for building the wall, taking advantage of Fisher's decades of expertise in aggregate processing and concrete production. This local production reduces costs and saves the fuel required to transport heavy and bulky materials from remote locations. Fisher Industries' capabilities and performance record are impressive. Any construction company can build a wall. But to build this wall, and build it efficiently, cost-effectively, and of the highest quality, takes a special company with exceptional capabilities. The key to building the southern border wall in less than 10 years is scale. The kind of scale the Fisher team brings to the field. Fisher Industries' new and innovative mobile form cast-in-place process offers the ideal solution for the Customs and Border Patrol border wall project. This patent-pending process was recently demonstrated during the construction of a prototype proof-of-concept wall at the U.S.-Mexico border in San Diego, California. With this safe, simple, fast, and effective process, Fisher will be able to build the new border wall quickly and efficiently, while meeting or exceeding all Customs and Border Patrol and project specifications. The process begins with the grading of the wall footing using an excavator. Next, footing reinforcement is built and installed, followed by the placement of the footing concrete, which will cure overnight. The next morning, an excavator places the vertical wall form, followed by the wall rebar cage. The sloping form is positioned next, sandwiching the wall rebar. Bulkheads are then attached on either end. The form package is now ready to receive concrete. 6,000 psi concrete is placed into the form and allowed to cure overnight. By morning, the wall concrete has cured to approximately 2,000 psi, and the vertical form is stripped away and repositioned for the second bulkhead wall. The rebar is then placed. The sloped form is then stripped and repositioned to sandwich the rebar for this second wall. The bulkheads are then attached and the wall is ready for the second concrete placement. Again, concrete is placed and left to cure for 14 to 15 hours. The next day, the second wall is ready and the forms are stripped away. The excavators position the forms for the closure section with the rebar cage between them. No bulkheads are required since the two wall sections create the end seal. Once again, concrete is placed. On the final day, the forms are stripped away to reveal the beautiful, robust, and long-lasting Fisher cast-in-place wall.
Tommy, you have designed a big wall. I've seen some pictures of it. It's one of 4 prototypes. The lack of funding is there from Congress. Give us a sense, how big is that wall that we're looking at a picture of right now?
Yeah, ours is a wall, not a see-through fence. It's an actual wall. It's 30 feet tall, 30 inches thick of concrete, and it will work. And one of the things, Jason, listening to the last viewer, we put a proposal on Department of Homeland Security's desk to build 700 miles in roughly 5 years through California, New Mexico, and Arizona, complete with high-speed roads for the agents that will actually work for $10.77 billion backed by a bond. There's no cost overruns. We're here to do exactly what we came to, is deliver border security for every single American, and we can prove it works.
Now, their terrain is not all flat. You've got places with riverbeds. You have some mountainous areas, particularly in New Mexico. So what do you do on those portions of it? Is the wall for the entire span, or what do you do about those mountain areas?
Absolutely no exceptions for mountains. With our patented system, we do step footings on the bottom. We keep a consistent top. We can go up 17% grades and build the roads that the agents can. And furthermore, I included a smaller proposal to build 15 miles in 1 year.
System's full. Can't take any more. Sorry, folks. Can't take any more. Asylum. You know, I look at some of these asylum people. They're gang members. When your system is packed, when you cannot get another person in, when every one of your detention areas is teeming and you have to let people go into a country that can't take them. Can't take them.
The administration has repeatedly warned of a crisis at the southern border, with more than 268,000 apprehensions this year, more than 76,000 in February alone. That's an 11-year high.
So there's a very good likelihood that I'll be closing the border next week.
The president renewed his threat today to shut down the flow of people and goods across the southern border. He called on congressional Democrats to get tougher on immigration and demanded that Mexico stop undocumented immigrants from entering the U.S.
They're going to stop them. And if they don't stop them, we're closing the border. They'll close it, and we'll keep it closed for a long time. I'm not playing games.
The threat comes as the Department of Homeland Security says the number of undocumented immigrants in their custody is at a crisis level, with holding facilities overflowing, mostly with families and children.